You're watching the Red Dead Report with your hosts, Gary Valentine and Jessie Jane.
Well, howdy, partners, and welcome to the Red Dead Report. I'm your host, Gary Valentine.
And I'm Jessie Jane. We have exclusive coverage of a story breaking life. The infamous band of outlaws known as the Stanko Brothers have just begun hijacking the train on its way out west. Eyewitness reports say the gang's leader, Al Stanko, and his two brothers Tommy and Luigi rode alongside the train on horseback before jumping on and brandishing firearms at the passengers, demanding that they hand over their valuables. We've got sources on the inside who will inform us as the story develops.
While we wait for updates on this thrilling train robbery, we welcome you to Plague Watch, brought to you by Dr. Elwood's Medicinal Leeches. Whether it's that pesky plague or you're just feeling a little woozy, Dr. Elwood's Medicinal Leeches are the best option for sucking that bad blood out of your body. Buy yours at the local general goods store today.
That's right, folks. A brand new plague scare has begun sweeping the frontier. Nothing has been confirmed by doctors, but many theories have been posited as to what exactly is causing this brand new sickness. Farmers everywhere have said that their cattle started acting funny before this plague reared its ugly head, so it could be some sort of meat-borne illness. On the other hand, farmer Ted Clark believes it may have been caused by a mutation in his corn crops because, quote, the stalks done looked a little funny. Farmer Clark was found dead shortly after this quote was taken, but we have no reason to believe it was for unrelated reasons.
Well, that's a shame. Religious leaders have weighed in on this plague situation with their own ideas of why this sickness has struck our people. Father Pinyan went on record saying, "This plague is a punishment and will only strike those who have strayed from the path of righteousness and sin before their Lord and Savior." Ironically, Father Pinyan would come down with a whooping cough and fall ill of the plague days later. Just when we might have had an idea of where this would have been dealing with, it turns out that we still have none.
Haha, that would have been funny if it weren't so sad. Finally, an apparent outbreak of the new plague was discovered in the bloody aftermath of Old Bart's coal mine. 12 coal miners were found dead, seemingly dying on the job from an apparent illness. Though symptoms vary, the one common indicator has been these strange circular wounds all over the arms and legs of the deceased. Nobody's quite sure what could have caused such perfectly circular marks on somebody's skin.
Well, that's it for our Plague Watch, sponsored by Dr. Elwood's Medicinal Leeches. Stay safe out there. If you feel that itch, Dr. Elwood says, just reach for the leech.
Well, thank you for that, Gary. Ever wondered what the common folk think about our Western lifestyle? We sent our own Jim Socks to find out.
What's good, gang? Before we get started, I just wanted to give a public service announcement. This man is being searched for by the authorities. He is wanted, he is dangerous, he is running amok, and he's climbing in your windows, snatching your people up. So if you see him, report him to the local authorities. And with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get started here with my first guest. Hello, and welcome to Best of the West. I am your host, Jim Socks, and I am here with Stinky Stan.
Dirty Dan.
Daniel. So today we're going to be talking a bit about the Western film genre. I know you have a prolific interest in it, so I wanted to open up with, what is your favorite Western movie?
Honestly, I'd have to say it's either the good, the bad, and the ugly.
You find that last part relatable? My last question, cowboy rides into town on Friday, and he stays for 2 days and then leaves on Wednesday. How is that possible?
I reckon that the horse's name was Friday.
Hi, I'm here with Beverly Cheese, continuing our discussion about the West. Beverly, what would you say is your favorite Western movie?
You know, I have to go with No Country for Old Men.
Do you really care for the Western genre? Really? Well, okay. So if you could make a Western film, then, right? What would it be about?
West.
I wouldn't know. So let me ask you this then. Let's say that you're just jigging out in the saloon, and some, schlub chucks those doors open, and the floorboards creak. He's stapping up to the bar, and he starts dissing you. Well, like, would you challenge an individual like that to pistols at dawn? Have you ever killed a man? Hello again, I'm here with the Schnoz. Continuing.
My name's Ronan
Okay.
Rogers. I'm sorry, continue.
I'm here with this guy to continuing our discussion about Western film. So let's open this can of worms here. What would you say is your favorite Western movie?
Oh, Rudy Tooty Shooty, like. So do you have like good questions or?
Okay.
What's
Well, how would you describe the Western film genre? I guess you just.
Yeah, we should probably skip that one.
Okay. How would you make a Western?
Instead of horses, they have
Well, that's
motorcycles. And instead of cowboys, they have motorcycles.
Let's say that hypothetically.
Disney. Have you heard of Disney? They make some.
I am aware.
They make some good stuff. Yeah.
Those sure were some good questions. A hot new update in the Stanko train robbery. Turns out the Stanko brothers weren't the only ones with eyes on today's train. Rival group the Mudwood Gang has just been spotted atop the train, standing across from the Stanko brothers in a 3-on-3 standoff. Our source on the inside says that Pippin Price, leader of the Mudwood Gang, was heard saying, "I sure hope this train isn't fixing to go through a tunnel or nothing."
Wow, exciting stuff. Stay tuned here on the Red Dead Report to see how the story develops.
Well, in lifestyle news, innovation continues to charge forward like a herd of cattle towards a slop trough. Let's see what inventions have been causing all the scuttlebutt around town. We've received the inside scoop that those fancy-pants college boys upstate have been developing a revolutionary new invention known as the printing press. This wonderful machine is designed to uniformly apply ink to paper, the way we've done by hand for years. Should they be successful, this invention would allow us to mass-produce things like stories, recipes, and news bulletins to be spread nationwide. They designed a beautiful flyer which gives a nice brief summary of the information, but they couldn't print it just yet. But we're all very excited when they can.
Well, speak for yourself. Anyway, are you tired of your drinks boiling in this harsh summer sun? Well, so were the Williker brothers, which is why they spent all their time developing a new method of beverage cooling known as ice cubes. These new doohickeys are, get this, small cubes of ice, made to be added to the drink in order to keep it cool. The unveiling of this ice cube has decreased the number of fatalities as gunslingers take their drinks with them to the duels and get too hammered to aim right. While town-goers were excited about the prospect of colder beverages, they were quickly enraged to learn that the Williker brothers spent their time on this instead of harvesting this season's corn yield.
Ugh, terrible. Well, speaking of food, let's talk about the latest in the world of bread. We're all familiar with bread. It's one of the 4 things we eat every single day. But what if we told you that bread could be cut up into thin little pieces? That's right, sliced bread. This is the best thing since, well, I'm not so sure. Rumor has it town bread baker Marvin Lee and his wife Sarah were running down the stairs with knives when they tripped and lost their grip. The blades went up in the air before dropping down on that day's fresh loaves. The bread survived in thin little pieces and has become the newest craze in bread's consumption. Now, this isn't public yet, but we've received the inside scoop that the Lee family has expressed interest in expanding in on this new innovation and collaborating with the town cook, Jebediah Arby's. Stay tuned to see how this food fiasco develops.
Boy, all that talk of bread sure got me hungry. Let's take it over to the kitchen for a brand new installment of Saddle Up and Savor.
To Saddle Up and Savor, the rootinest, tootinest cooking show on television. Today, we're going to be making My Peepaw's famous cowboy cookies. This recipe is perfect for any hootenanny or that special gift for that special cowboy in your life. Now, to start, we're going to need 2 bowls, a pan, and a whisk. We're also going to need all-purpose flour, raisins, oats, which is My Peepaw's secret ingredient, and of course, some eggs. We need to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Now, once that's preheating, we're going to start mixing our ingredients together. So let's roll up our sleeves and get baking. First, we're going to need about a cup of flour, now, I remember when my peepaw first taught me this recipe. He said he made it for my grandma on Valentine's Day. Next, we're going to take our raisins and just pour to your heart's desire, doesn't really matter. And when my grandma tried his special cookies, she instantly fell in love. Next, we're going to pour equal parts oats to our flour. Now, we're going to start to mix these up in the bowl. You just want to take your whisk and mix them all up until it's all evenly distributed. And once that's mixed up, we're going to take a separate bowl and get our wet ingredients, which is, of course, our eggs and melted butter. So you just want to take 1 egg or 2, depending on how many you're making. Just want to crack it in there, yolk and all. Now, I like to save the shells for my garden, just to help with the fertilizer. Now you want to whisk this up real nice to make sure the yolk is broken up.
Yes! Yes!
Now once that's mixed, this is the fun part. You're gonna put it into your dry ingredients. Now don't be afraid now, we're gonna get our hands dirty. Gonna just fold it in and mix it up all nice. Now once we have this all mixed up, we're gonna take our non-stick pan, or if you don't have it, you just take a normal pan and grease it up with some butter. And we're just gonna place them into little balls. Just gonna roll it up with our hands and place them about 2 or 2.5 inches apart. So when they bake, they won't spread together and become one big cookie. Although I don't mind one big cookie. Now that's gonna bake for about 10 to 12 minutes. All right, folks, we'll be right back after these messages.
Hey everybody, I got a cool product to sell you.
Where are you talking to?
I don't know. Who am I talking to?
Howdy, folks, and welcome back. Now, I can tell by my nose that these cookies are just about done. So let's take them out of the oven and see how we did. These smell delicious. Now, typically we would wait for these to cool for about 2 to 3 minutes, but I like them nice and gooey, so I'm gonna have one right now. Now that'll make Peepaw proud. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this cookie recipe, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.
Wow, those sure look good. We've got a special guest here in the studio. Former outlaws and brothers, Jimmy and Jeremiah Johnson. Fellas, how are you today?
Oh, I'm splendid, Gary. Thank you so much.
Dandy.
Don't talk when I'm talking. It was really good. Thank you for having us today.
Jeremiah, how dare you?
Well, as former outlaws, what do you think is the hardest part about the rough and tumble lifestyle?
Let's see. I think the filth is pretty hard. Living conditions is tough. You know, you're living on the road a lot. You know, when you sleep out in the wilderness, you get a lot of creatures. I had an iguana crawl up my pants. It took a chunk out of my thigh. I still have that scar. So I would say that's the rough part.
You know, a lot of outlaws actually don't talk about this a lot, but there's a lot of inconsideracy. People are really inconsiderate when you're an outlaw. You know, you very nicely ask for their money, and then you have to like impale them or something of them sorts. And then they think it's okay to scream in your ear and bleed all over you, and it's like it's rude. It really gets down to you. It digs at you. You know, it gets down to your soul. It's a real problem I think we really got to talk about nowadays. You know, now in the new world.
Oh, that's terrible. Well, if you had any advice for up-and-coming outlaws out there, what would it be?
You know, I think people make the mistake of not targeting the weak in our society. So, you know, I would say going after the elderly,
cripples,
women, children, anything with a hospital. Amputee homes also work very well.
Those are really good. They can't run away from you.
Yeah, so I would just recommend doing that more often.
I think it's also very important, you know, as outlaws, you plan, you know, for the mission. You plan for, okay, attacking the train, you know, robbing the orphanage, murdering them all, stuff like that. But you don't plan for the runaway. And it's a problem I've run into a lot, where you don't really think about the needs of what you're going to need after you run away from, you know, doing the deed. And, you know, like I find myself often without toilet paper, you know, and we're in the desert for days, you know. You got little kids have bloods on your hand, you know, you're not going to be back in town for a little bit. And then you have to end up using your brother Jeremiah's shirt and then blaming it on cats and dogs. And it's really, planning is key, you know. You got to plan.
Well, thanks for joining us today, fellas. We'll be back with the Red Dead Report.
I'm so sorry. It wasn't me, though.
After this commercial break. Well, we have the exclusive footage.
Yes, guys, we now have exclusive footage of the new Western-themed video game sweeping the nation, Red Dead Redemption 2. This highly accurate and heavily researched Western simulator will put the players in the hands of a real cowboy. But first, a message from our sponsors.
Who are you? The ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. Start sharing your Cocoa Pebbles with Poor Bunny Rubble, or this is your fate.
Oh, no! I can change. I can share.
See? Merriest chocolatey taste.
How's my future look now? Dino? Kids? Bonnie!
Be nice, Daddy. Santa's watching you.
Happy holidays, Bon.
Yay!
Host Cocoa Pebble cereal, part of this good breakfast.
Bless us, everyone.
Oh, would you look at that? What's going on here?
Oh, I think he's
The other side of it is
Water. I don't think that's water. You see, look at him. He's falling. He's punching people. People don't do that off water. Oh, so you're just gonna, you're right. That's a typical Tuesday night down in the saloon.
Yeah, I remember.
Where's everyone going?
Yeah, I remember seeing you. So, do you know who this man is? Is he a friend of yours? A relative of yours?
He introduced himself, but by that point, I was so far in the poker game, I kind of forgot.
Well, I wouldn't admit to being related to this man. Look at him. What's going on here? He's just flying around like he's on some magic potion.
Well, sometimes I fly around like that, but...
Oh, do you? Can you tell me your secret?
If I told you... You know what? Look at that right there. There's some...
Oh, so you're just going to avoid the question.
See, the Johnson brothers. Johnson and Johnson.
And now these guys,
they've been working on a vaccine. Oh, look at that.
They're just stealing a stagecoach. These people, really, they be getting up to trouble.
I'd be changing my hat like that.
Though. I like that hat.
Yep.
Wow.
And...
Could you imagine?
I don't do this.
Oh, so you fly around, but you don't...
I don't mess up that bad. That's embarrassing. I wish I knew this guy.
That's not me.
Oh, that was me. You just saw a clip of me. Oh, there's the carriage.
Boy, there sure is a lot going on here that I'm not quite...
That's why my shipment's late. That makes so much sense. I was waiting for a package.
Well, it's because you didn't buy these flying horses.
Gosh darn it.
It's just flying boat. So you got to pay extra for this express shipping service.
Yeah. See, I thought I saw a falling star, but I guess that wasn't a falling star.
I was just your cousin, Bill.
I told you I didn't know the name.
Well,
okay. There he goes.
What are you building, Stark?
I'm working on something big. Yeah, I can fly. I just finally know what I have to do.
It's the thirstiest time of the year. I have just one query.
Want a Sprite cranberry?
The answer is clear. It's the thirstiest time of the year. Sprite, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just received the latest on today's great train robbery. The Stanko brothers and Mudwood gang decided to join forces and hijack the train. They took control of the driver's compartment and proclaimed that they were taking this locomotive all the way to Washington. This lofty goal would prove to be an impossible mission, however, as both groups were stopped and arrested at the next station. Sheriff Dixon, who made the arrest, said, We knew exactly where the train would be heading next since, it's a train. Can't hijack a train. Thus brings an end to this exciting crime saga.
Wow. Well, we reached out to the mother of the Stanko brothers, Ruby G. Stanko, to see if she cared to comment on the behavior of her 3 sons. She said simply, "Those boys are dumb as a bag of hammers. You can't hijack a train."
That is true. Now that story is drawn to a close, let's see who's the better host with a good old-fashioned duel.
See the fire in your
Well, folks, that's all for our show this week. Join us next time on the Red Dead Report, where my new co-host and I will give you the latest and greatest in the Western world. Y'all come back now, you hear?
You've been watching the Red Dead Report with your host, Jessie Jane.